Hey, it's Rick with Rock Bottom Outreach. It's Real Talk Tuesday. Let me tell you right now, I am a creature of habit, and there's a reason I'm like that. If you try to convince me that sushi is great and I'm missing out on something great, my answer will be no. I'm not going to try it. If you try to tell me that it's most important that when I'm eating a steak, you have to have it well done, no. It's medium for me. See, there's certain things I have strong convictions of, and regardless of what you say, you will not sway any direction. Come OU Texas weekend, and it is OU Texas, I'm an OU fan. You will not get me to be a Texas fan. Another thing I have a conviction about. But here's the real deal. What do you have conviction about? Because here's the deal. If you don't find some conviction in your life, you're in trouble. And essentially what that means is, what is it that you have a strong opinion on that you will not be swayed? All right, let me say that again. What is it you have a strong opinion on that you will not be swayed? And I'll tell you where I'm going with this. Because man has an opinion, have a lot of opinion. God gave us free will. Would you not agree? And it's funny because when I go into a modern church, a lot of times a traditional church, and I can spot a newcomer because they look like they are playing Simon Says. Every time the congregation stands up, they stand up. When they sit down, they sit down. But here's where they're torn. Half the people are standing, the other half are sitting. And they're like, I'm going to mess it up. You know, what am I supposed to do? You know, all of a sudden you look across the congregation and there's some people with their hands raised. Well, now those newcomers, they're really confused because the game Simon Says is not going as planned right now. And they actually feel uncomfortable because they're afraid they're going to do it wrong. But here's the deal. When you learn to listen to the conviction that God has given you, you'll never be wrong. Now, you could be ridiculed, but you will never be wrong. My example, Noah. Noah was a drunk, they said. But God spoke to Noah, and Noah knew his voice. And Noah was a righteous man. And he said to build an ark, make it out of gopher wood. He told him exactly what 2 animals and what family members to put on that. And everyone said, dude, you're absolutely crazy. You're just a dumb old drunk dude because it ain't going to rain. But you know what? Noah never was he nudged another direction because he knew the voice of God. Here's where I'm going with this, is that you've got to find conviction in your life. And I'm going to tell you why. Actually, John chapter 10, the 24th verse. I take that back. Let's go to 14. I am the good shepherd. I know my sheep, and my sheep know me. They understand the difference between someone's opinion and a conviction that God has given them. Here's the danger. If you've got kids in school, teenagers in particular, let's say a girl, and a boy says, if you love someone, sleeping with them is okay. If your daughter has no conviction about that and she's not been taught anything other than that, you're in trouble. Because her opinion will be easily swayed by that young man, especially if he's a smooth talker. It's the same thing. Your young man is in a situation with drugs, and because he has no conviction about it, he's going to do what everyone else is doing. I'm telling you. My boys were raised to be individuals, and they have strong convictions now. Not just because I told them, but they understand what God says. It's important that we understand the difference between man's opinion and God's. My example of the worship center is this. We're so afraid we're going to do it wrong that we're still following man's lead, even in the sanctuary. Worshiping God, there is no wrong. If the Holy Spirit says stand up, stand up. Says sit down, sit down. You're not doing it wrong. Just relax. You're not going to mess up the worship service. I promise you. They're not going to say, well, that dude right there just messed the whole thing up. My question today is this. What is it you have conviction of in your life? Is it cussing? Is it drinking? Is it drugging? Is it looking at pornography? You've got to figure out what your conviction is, and you got to stand on it. This Wednesday night, I'll be preaching at the Freedom Life Church in Sanger, Texas. It's youth night, and we're going to be talking about those very things. What would Jesus do? That is where the conviction comes from. So you bring your kids this Wednesday, 7 o'clock, Freedom Life in Sanger, Texas. I'll be preaching about what Jesus would really do. Don't miss it. It's Rick with Rock Bottom Outreach. It's been Real Talk Tuesday. Bam!